Hi, it's Miss Parrott again, coming to you from my kitchen again, all different angles of the house. And today is video 6, which we are going to talk about The Outsiders, chapters 3 and 4. But before we do, just want to remind you we are in week 2. So hopefully you have been working on chapters 2 to 4 of The Outsiders, as well as your persuasive research. You might not be able to use OSLAs, but even reliable websites will work. And finally, you should be working on option 2 for your medieval Europe time book. Now, another thing I wanted to tell you is that I sent out an email to your parents earlier today that has an invitation in it for you to accept and join our first Google Hangouts, which will take place on Tuesday, April 7th from 9 to 11 a.m. And I would love everyone to be there as close to the starting time as possible because it's our first session. In the future, you can join in as needed. And if you can't make it right at 9 a.m., you can join in later in the time window. So I would love for you to look at the comments I have been leaving you for your novel projects. So I have finished both classes, all the comments on Google Classroom for that. And this weekend I will be giving comments to the America's Time book for both classes as well. So everything should be completely looked at by Monday. And some people are already on there making the revisions and the edits that they need to, so that is awesome. Good job, guys. So today we are going to talk about The Outsiders, chapters 3 and 4. And if you have gotten to chapter 3, you know that there has been some interactions between the Socs and the Greasers, mostly not so good. But there is an interaction with Ponyboy and Cherry, and as you know, Ponyboy is a Greaser and Cherry is a Soc, and Cherry and Ponyboy are kind of getting into a little bit deeper conversation, and Cherry tries to explain what the difference is between the Socs and the Greasers. And so make sure that your answer to number 1 really goes into the feelings, the emotions of both groups and how they are different, like how they show their emotions differently. So that's one thing to think about. Another thing to think about for chapter 4 is that there is a huge event that takes place and really drives the rest of the story. And so it's really important that you read this scene carefully and understand what starts it, what happens during the conflict, how it ends exactly, and then how does it create further conflict. And that's what I meant by drives the rest of the story. So all of those elements are really important to think about as you dissect that scene, that conflict. So that's number 6 for chapter 4. And then this is one of the things to be thinking about just as you read the whole story is there is quite a bit of foreshadowing that takes place up until that huge conflict in chapter 4. And so I want you to challenge yourself to look back and see if you can find some examples of that foreshadowing. It's going to be a question that I ask in our Google Hangouts on Tuesday. I want to see if people are really engaged with the story and not just going through and answering the questions and doing the definitions, but really thinking about what S.E. Hinton, as a teenager in the 1960s, what she was doing as an author to really engage you as a reader. So those are some questions to think about for chapters 3 and 4. If there are any questions that come up that you don't understand or vocabulary that you're finding hard to define, please bring up your questions on Tuesday, or you can email me before that. I'm really excited to talk with you guys. So in the meantime, be looking for your comments from me on your novel project and your America's Time book. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I will be having a new YouTube on Monday. So look forward to seeing you next week. Bye from Miss Parrott's Kitchen.